The footage you are seeing is of Bloodborne running on PC at an internal resolution of 4K and 60 FPS. It's been 10 years since the release of Bloodborne on the Magic Sony box, 4th edition. For 10 years, all fans of FromSoft, well, all with the exception of the hardcore Sony shows, have been asking for a PC port of the game, but FromSoft can't do anything because they don't own the IP, and Sony is just ignoring us while porting every single one of their exclusive walking simulators to PC. Well, Sony can do whatever they want, but if they deny the consumer a product they really want for long enough, people on the internet will eventually figure out a way to do it themselves. And do it themselves they did. How is this possible, you may ask? Well, allow me to introduce you to Shad PS4. Shad PS4 is an early in development PlayStation 4 emulator, which just so happens to allow you to play Bloodborne on PC near perfectly. Allow me to show you its features. This emulator has patches specifically for Bloodborne that you can use to play the game at 60 FPS, a higher or lower resolution than the default 1080p, skip the annoying intro, disable visual effects like chromatic aberration, and more. Since this is on PC, you can do a number of other things, like, for example, force 16 times anisotropic filtering through your graphics drivers, which makes a large difference at almost no performance cost. You can see on the screenshots that 16 times anisotropic filtering makes quite the difference in how distant textures look when viewed at an angle. You can also run all kinds of mods. Bloodborne Enhanced, for example, is a must-have mod in my opinion. It allows you to toggle many quality of life options that I've personally always wanted in Bloodborne, like blood vials and bullets recharging upon teleporting, being able to teleport from the lantern to any other lantern, being able to level up, fix your weapon, switch out blood gems, buy items, etc., all from the lamp. With this mod, there's no need to teleport to the Hunter's Dream a billion times every playthrough. There's also an option to kindle lanterns, which determines how many bullets and vials you get from it when you teleport to it, or you respawn at it after you die. Just like in Dark Souls 1, boss runs can completely be eliminated with the warp to boss option, which teleports you to the fog wall of the last boss you died on. And you can also replay boss fights from the lantern, just like in Sekiro. Of course, you can toggle all of this whenever you want. Or you can just play the game vanilla without installing the mod at all. I'm just showing you what's possible and how I like to play. The game overall feels extremely good to play on PC using the Shad PS4 emulator. I have it locked to 60 FPS and can maintain 60 FPS 99.9% of the time while playing the game. The frame pacing is one of the best I've seen in any game. Period. It legitimately feels smoother than the vast majority of PC games. All animations look great at 60 FPS, and the combat feels incomparably better than it is on PS4 and PS5, where it's locked to 30 FPS. This is the ultimate Bloodborne experience, and I simply can't go back to playing Bloodborne on console anymore, because the PC version has all the quality of life improvements I've always wanted, and the smoothness and responsiveness that improve the combat so much for me that going back to 30 FPS is completely unthinkable. That said, the experience is not flawless yet. It is an early work-in-progress emulator, after all. Let's start with the minor graphical bugs. You might see things turn a weird color here and there. Here you can see my weapon has turned purple. And here we see Amelia with a new hairstyle. These bugs are rare, and the weird colors go away eventually, so it's not a big deal. The emulator is mostly stable, but it can crash from time to time. If you have less than 32 GB of RAM and less than 12 GB of VRAM, crashes might be more frequent. Finally, the biggest issue with Bloodborne on the Shad PS4 emulator is that it still requires you to have a PS4 to play the game. This is because the only way you can dump your game files so that you're able to play the game using the emulator is using a jailbroken PS4. There is no program like the ones for PlayStation 3 games where you can just get a Blu-ray drive, insert your PS3 game into the drive, and then use the software to dump the image to your computer. So you're going to need a jailbroken PS4 to dump the files on your computer. The last bit is a big barrier to entry, but at least we have the ability to play a superior version of Bloodborne right now. I still hope Sony releases a PC port, be it a remaster or a straight up PC port of the game, it doesn't really matter. But for now, the emulated game is all we have. So, this is it, we have Bloodborne on PC now. Sort of. Do you think Sony will ever do an official port of Bloodborne? Tell me in the comments, and see you in the next one.